Documents reveal how much the Secret Service paid to stay at resorts owned by former President Trump. Vineyard Video, new images of the migrant flight released by Governor DeSantis. And FIU's Kenneth Jessel takes the word interim off of his title.
Thank you very much for this opportunity.
These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
I'm Amanda Gray. Today's Tuesday, October 18th, 2022.
Live from the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
Tragedy after takeoff in Miramar. A plane goes down, hitting a house just steps from North Perry Airport. No one inside the house was hurt, but sadly, both people on the plane were killed on impact.
The small plane crashed in the backyard, ending up between the pool and the fence. A woman and child inside the home were able to get out. The plane remains on the top of the house this morning, awaiting investigation from the federal government to arrive.
After almost a year's worth of deliberations and over 70 candidate applications, the search is finally over. Yesterday, the FIU Board of Trustees voted unanimously to appoint Dr. Kenneth Jessel as president of FIU. Dr. Jessel has held 6 open forums promising the 4 pillars of his presidency to be student success, research excellence, sustainable resources, as well as affinity and engagement.
I will work tirelessly in supporting the goals of the institution and supporting you as members of the Board of Trustees.
Jessel is scheduled to meet with the Florida Board of Governors on November 9th and 10th for official confirmation of his presidency.
This morning, the Trump Organization is being accused of charging government employees exorbitant rates as they were protecting the former president and his family on properties owned by Trump. DC reporter Victoria Duran gives us a deeper look into the story.
The House Oversight Committee released documents on Monday that revealed the Trump Organization charged the Secret Service excessive rates totaling nearly $2 million over his 4-year term.
Documents show that the Secret Service was charged over $1,100 per night at some properties, despite Trump's previous claims that federal employees traveling with him would stay at these properties for free or at cost. The committee found that the Trump Organization charged more than the government rate at least 40 times between January 2017 to September 2021. The committee has been seeking a full accounting of the Secret Service's expenditures at Trump-owned properties for more than 2 years, but has been unable to obtain the full information on nightly rates or the total amount spent by the agency, which appears to be more than $1.4 million in taxpayer money.
The committee is looking at potential legislation to prevent this issue from happening again in the future, where a sitting president is profiting from businesses on the side. Reporting for the South Florida Media Network in Washington, D.C., Victoria Duran.
Video released by the Florida Governor's Office reveals new insight into the migrant flights. Lined up to enter the small aircraft, footage depicts migrants ready with luggage behind their backs while crew members get ready to board them. The video brings a closer understanding into the process these migrant families went through at the hands of the flights paid for by the state of Florida.
Voters will head to the polls in 20 days for midterm elections to decide the political party that will control Congress in the new legislative session next year. Some political analysts are focusing on the Hispanic community, increasingly considered a swing vote. The network's Nicole Castañeda in D.C. with more details.
Many races in the upcoming midterm elections are too close for experts to call. But one thing they're certain about is that the Latino community will have a big impact on what will happen right here in the next 2 years.
The Democrat Party has abandoned us and taken us for granted.
Monica de la Cruz is part of a trio of Republican Latinas on the ballot in South Texas. She is determined to redefine the region's political tradition. And she's not the only Latina doing so. The New York Times shared a poll that showed that even though Latinos side with Democrats 56% compared to 32% of Republican supporters, numbers have been changing slowly since the 2016 presidential election. As this New York Times survey shows, 54% of the Latino community say they will vote based on economic issues. And as many political analysts have said, this is the crux of the issue. Just like many other groups, Latinos want to have better economic opportunities to support their families and prosper in this country.
Donald Trump to them is the first Hispanic president because he shares those blue-collar values.
So Poe tells CNN Republicans are becoming an inspirational party, especially in young Latino communities who are not immigrants. There are still many Latinos who stand by Democrats.
Former President Trump was not affiliated to my beliefs or my values. That's the reason that I decided to vote Democrat, and I registered as a Democrat in New York State.
Michelle Vallejo is a Democrat and a Texas congressional candidate who dismisses what Sopo says.
No, I do not. And I'm looking forward to hopefully earning their support and their vote.
However, Republicans have lots of work to do in the Latino community as Hispanic Americans make up a fifth of registered voters, and Democrats are still expected to win a majority in this community. But their margins appear to be shrinking in some cases. In 2016, Democrats won in the Latino community in Florida with a 62% of the votes, but their percentage went down in the 2020 elections with a 52% in favor. From Washington, D.C., reporting for the South Florida Media Network, Nicole Castañeda.
As human trafficking numbers continue to grow worldwide, the organization A21 is raising awareness by hosting walks around the world. The network's Paloma Pimentel was at the walk in Miami this weekend, where the community stood up against sex trafficking.
On this very sunny day, the community of Miami is joining the global force where thousands of people around the world are uniting and taking a walk with a nonprofit corporation, A21's Walk for Freedom campaign, to create awareness and eradicate human trafficking. The A21 campaign is a leading nonprofit organization that began in Greece but is now established in cities around the world that focuses on fighting and preventing human trafficking.
I get to lead the walk with my daughter here in Miami, the city that raised me, and so I'm very, very grateful to be able to do that.
The organization created its own global awareness event that takes place around this time of the year, the Walk for Freedom, where they rally communities in 34 countries around the world to walk in a single file line, holding posters that show a trafficking hotline number in hopes of reaching people that can help and raising local awareness about the global issues of human trafficking and how to end it.
I am an active supporter of the human trafficking cause. I came here on my day off just to support it and bring attention and awareness to the cause. I work in transportation industry, so for me it's very important that people are aware that this is a thing that affects about 25 million people in the world.
In the middle of a blazingly sunny day, the protesters began walking at 4 p.m. down 8th Street and ending at 5th, then walking back to the meeting spot, equaling a 2-mile walk in total.
After walking with the A21's Walk for Freedom campaign, it is apparent how the community of Miami is well aware of such an important issue that demands attention. This is Paloma Pimentel from the South Florida Media Network signing off.
Today, Inter Miami travels back home after a devastating game against New York City FC. This team is known for their late games heroic outcomes. However, yesterday, NYCFC crushed their dreams of being MLS champions after eliminating them from the playoffs by scoring 3 goals in the last 27 minutes. With a cut season, Inter Miami fans will have to wait another year for another attempt at winning the MLS Cup.
The Florida Panthers left bruised after their first loss of the season against the Boston Bruins on the road. Things did not start off great for the Cats as they got scored on 21 seconds into the first period, and it did not get better as the Bruins scored 3 goals in the third period, and the Panthers just could not keep up. The final score was Panthers 3, Bruins 5. The Florida Panthers will return back home to face the Philadelphia Flyers tomorrow at 7:30.
It has only been weeks since Hurricane Ian devastated the Fort Myers area, and now one lucky person's life is about to change for the better. One of 2 winning tickets to Friday's Mega Million jackpot was sold at a 7-Eleven in Fort Myers. Officials say the jackpot is the 11th largest in the game's history, worth nearly $500 million.
A helicopter crew saving a group of stranded Boy Scouts, and it's caught on camera.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
Is going to benefit as many as 30 million Americans.
Hearing aids now available without a prescription. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
If a natural disaster shows up at your doorstep, you can't just turn it away. That's why it's important to prepare for emergencies before they show up. Go to ready.gov/plan to find the tools and tips you need. And make a plan today.
You really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's like music to the ears of people who need hearing aids. This very necessary medical device is now a lot easier to get.
As the network's Christy Hernandez reports, they're not available over the counter.
We have big news today, and that is going to benefit as many as 30 million Americans.
A new FDA rule is allowing millions of Americans suffering from hearing loss the ability to purchase hearing aids online or in store, and Walmart is one of them.
For the first time, hearing aids can now be purchased over the counter without a prescription, exam, or fitting, following an August rule change by the FDA. The FDA says their policy change will make hearing aids more accessible to the general public. Hearing aids will soon be available at major retailers including Walgreens, CVS, Best Buy, and Walmart, and claim this could save people as much as $3,000 per year, making them more affordable.
The average cost of a pair of hearing aids in the past was about $4,500. I mean, so put that in perspective, that means for the average American, a pair of hearing aids could be your third largest material purchase in life after a house and a car.
Experts say leaving hearing loss untreated could be detrimental to overall health. Studies have shown some links to dementia, poor mental health, and increased risks of falls.
Hearing health is part of overall wellness, just as is your blood pressure, cholesterol, your weight, everything else, to staying fit.
The aids cost between $199 to $999 per pair.
Over-the-counter hearing aids are a great option for those with mild to moderate hearing loss. For those with more severe hearing loss, prescription hearing aids are still the only option, as well as those under the age of 18. I'm Christy Hernandez, reporting for the South Florida Media Network.
A miracle in New Mexico after a Boy Scout troop was rescued from a national forest where they were stranded for days. The Boy Scout troop from El Paso, Texas, set off on what was supposed to be a week-long camping trip in New Mexico's Gila National Forest. After heavy rain, a rising river around them forced the troop to stay in their campsite. Families became worried when they didn't hear from their loved ones and called the Mexico State Police. After being stranded for 8 days, the troop was found and airlifted to safety, where miraculously nobody was hurt.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Amanda Gray.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.